Today, I want to have a heart-to-heart with you because I know what it feels like to hold yourself back and to shrink and to wonder if you're too much or if you should just stay in your lane or if you're being good enough. But I need you to hear me when I say you were made to shine. Today, I'm going to hand you the permission slip to do just that, to shine. We can no longer keep holding ourselves back and shrinking due to somebody else's opinions or thoughts or guilt or all of these reasons and things that keep us doing this. Hey, welcome to Like a Mom. This is a podcast where we prove that you don't have to choose between rocking it at home and building a thriving business. You actually get to do both. We're here to ditch the stereotypes, crush those limiting beliefs, and show you how the skills that you use every day that make you a great mom are actually the same ones that make you an incredible business owner. Let's dive into empowering conversations, practical tips, and plenty of inspiration and support to help you thrive in every part of your life. Because, like a mom, you're already unstoppable. Let's do this. I do this all the time in my life. I have done this my entire life. There have been periods of time in my life when I have owned myself and shut the whole rest of the world out and just done the thing that people didn't agree with, that people didn't like. Maybe wasn't a good choice. Maybe seemed crazy. Maybe seemed off the wall. When I was younger, I moved in with a guy I was dating, and that didn't turn out well. And then recently, about almost 2 years ago, I guess, I decided that I was going to paint my car. My car had peeling paint on it, and I knew that it was going to rust if I didn't do something with it. The Florida heat and the humidity had just done a number on it, and my car was peeling. And I was saying, I'm going to paint this car. And of course, everybody thought I was nuts. Everybody thought, you shouldn't do that. You're going to ruin it. All of these things. And I was like, I have this whole huge warehouse. I have a spray gun. I know how to spray paint. I know how to get a super smooth finish. I watched some YouTube videos. I'm pretty sure I can paint this car. And so that's what I did. I literally painted my car, even though everybody said, I shouldn't, I couldn't, or all of the things. And it turned out amazing, and it actually made me more money when I went to go sell the car a year later. So there are periods of times in my life when I have owned my whatever it was that I wanted to do and not let outside interference get involved. But for the vast majority of my life, I have been a good girl. I have held myself back. I have shrunk. I have hidden. I have tried not to be too much. I have tried to be easy. I have tried to please. I have tried to just stay in my lane. I have tried to be really successful at what I should do or how I should do it or how I shouldn't do it. I was ingrained in my belief system throughout my entire life. That's the way that you need to be. That's what you need to do good, and you need to assimilate in, and you need to be pleasing. And so I have done that, and I have found myself most of the time waiting for permission to do whatever it is that I really wanted to do, or become who I wanted to become, or not who I want to become, who I actually really am inside. Because it gets so hidden behind all of this pleasing and guilt and all of this stuff. And so those periods of times in my life when I just did what I wanted, it was so freeing and so liberating. And then more recently, I have found myself back into this pattern of needing permission, needing to shrink, needing to hide, needing to do it right, needing to be good, basically playing small. I questioned everything I did. I needed to have somebody else's opinion about everything. Every move in my business, every decision in my home or with my kids, I would overthink it. I would wonder what people would say if I, did whatever it was I was wanting to do, or didn't do whatever it was that I thought I should be doing, or if I took up more space, or if I started living life the way that I wanted instead of what everybody else thought that I should. And I bet that you have probably felt this too. Maybe you have put your dreams on the back burner because right now just isn't the time. Right now you're too busy. Right now other people need you more. Right now other people's dreams are first. Right now something else has to be this way. And so your dreams go on the back burner. Maybe you've hesitated to show up online and grow your business because what will they think? This is me right now. I have grown a business online. I have painted live on Facebook Lives when it was the thing. I have a YouTube channel for painting. I have done live classes online, and I have been seen and been online. And now, for whatever reason, I am hesitating showing up as me online to grow my business. I am overthinking too much in my mind about what if this, what if that, what if I don't, what if this, what did I say? Like then I need and I gotta have, and well, what if this? Or maybe you've been busy trying to make everyone else comfortable and you have forgotten how to be you. You have forgotten who you are or what you want, or how you would want to do it, or how you want to live, because you have put everybody in front and made sure that all of their needs and all of their wants were taken care of. And so you've just kind of gotten out of touch and forgotten how to fully be you. If any of these things hits with you, let me tell you something. You do not need anyone's permission to go after the life that you want. The only permission slip that matters is the one that you're writing for yourself. When you want to do something, or when you have a desire to do something, or you have dreams that you want to fulfill or do, you do not need anyone else's permission slip. You need to give your own self the permission to do it no matter what. You were never meant to shrink. I do not believe that we were put here on this earth to shrink, to hide. But somewhere along the way, we were taught to make ourselves smaller, to be the good girl, to be the selfless mom, to be the perfect wife, to be the Susie homemaker, to be the nice business owner that everybody would want to do business with and work for, the one who doesn't rock the boat, the one who's pleasing, the one who doesn't stand out too much, the one that doesn't cause a ruckus. But what good is it to be everything for everyone else if we're never doing anything for ourselves or being ourselves? I don't know about you, but I don't enjoy it. It's no good at all. It sends me right to the place of, why am I even here? What am I even doing? I spend my whole entire life being everything and all of these things that I don't even actually really want to do, and I'm just doing them because I feel like I have to keep this persona up that somebody said we needed to do. We don't actually need to do it. If it doesn't feel good to us, if it doesn't resonate with us, who says that you have to be the good girl? Why can't you do something that somebody else would deem as not what the good girl would do? She doesn't have her skirt on and her legs crossed. She's wearing pants, and that's not the good girl. It doesn't mean you're bad. It's just their opinion of what a good girl is. Their definition of a good girl is whatever it is, and we are formulating all of our actions and all of our beliefs through somebody else's filter of what a good girl is, or a selfless mom is, or the right thing you should do, or how you have to do it. We don't have to do that. We actually have to do what feels good for us. We actually have to do what we want to do. When we have an urge, or when we want to say something, or when we want to be something, or we have a dream, I believe we were meant to do those things. We wouldn't have the thought, we wouldn't have the dream, we wouldn't have the urge if we weren't meant to do something with it. And so often we let all of our dreams pass by. We let all of our thoughts go. We don't speak. We don't show up. We shrink back. We let everyone go first. We wait until somebody gives us permission to do whatever it is that we think that we would have is a good idea. And it just passes by and it just misses us. And we never actually fulfill it. We never actually get to live the life that we were meant to live. We were put here for a reason. And that reason can be a mom, a wife, a business owner. You can be a mom and have a dream of your own. And you can do both of those. I don't believe at any point in time that we were put here to choose one. I think that is the way that the society wants us to live, to choose one and to get into this rhythm and this system and to do that one thing the way that they have outlined it to do. And I don't think that's what we're supposed to do. I don't think that is our mission and our purpose here on earth. And I think this is actually what is causing us to be so burnt out and just with life as moms, as women, because we have fallen into this like role of what we should do instead of what we want to do, what we are sent here to do, what our purpose is here to do. If no one has told you, you are allowed to speak your truth. You are allowed to say what you think, what you feel, how you processed it, how it made you feel. You're allowed to speak your truth for you. You get to speak for you. You have a voice and you have feelings and you have thoughts, and you are entitled to all of those things, and you have the permission to speak your truth, even if it might make somebody uncomfortable. A lot of times we hold back and we hold things inside of us and we don't say things and we don't feel like the feelings that it makes us feel, and we don't voice that out to people because we're afraid that it might make them uncomfortable. But we forget that we're sitting here uncomfortable. So we're okay with us being uncomfortable at the sake of keeping quiet so that they are not uncomfortable. When in reality, if you are speaking your truth and it bothers them, that's on them. They get the right to those feelings. They get the right to their truth. But you have a right to your truth. And so I believe that we need to start speaking our truth. We need to start chasing our dreams, even if people don't understand them. Why do we wait around and tell everybody our dreams, everybody our ideas, everybody our plans, everybody, our thoughts, our what ifs, and we wait for them to basically tell us if it's a good idea or if it's a bad idea? And then even if they tell us it's a good idea, we still need to keep talking about it more. Or we need to go ask somebody else and see if they think it's a good idea too. It's like we have to collect so many permission slips before we could maybe even try. And I don't know if you've noticed, but you can get all the permission slips you want from everybody else, but you're not ever actually going to chase the dream, and you're not ever actually going to do the thing until you give yourself the permission slip. So instead of us going around and asking everybody else for their permission slips, we actually just need to sit with ourselves and then give ourselves permission slip. I am awful about this. It took me 2 years to get a podcast out. And I didn't even get a podcast out by myself the first time. I had to ask everybody what they thought about a podcast. I had to ask everybody what they thought about my idea about a podcast. I had to sign up and pay and take a course to learn how to podcast, how to do it right, how to do it successfully, all of this stuff. It took me 2 years to get a podcast out, and I had convinced my husband along the way to do the podcast with me, when in reality he had no care to do a podcast. And so we started doing this podcast because I needed permission to do this thing. I needed permission to start speaking my truth. I needed permission to start showing up that I could do the podcast, that I was able to do this, that I was, whatever. And finally I realized this, and he I let him off the hook, and he, doesn't do the podcast with me anymore. And I like changed it and rebranded it into something that really is like my original passion of when I first started talking about having a podcast. But it took me 2 years to do that because I was walking around looking to get permission slips from people I knew, experts in the field, and then I had to give myself the permission slip to just do the podcast. And when I gave myself the permission slip to just do the podcast, even if it's messy, even if it like is embarrassing, even if it doesn't turn into anything, even if it isn't the best, even if you have one listener or no listeners, like even if you don't like do social media right for it or whatever, when I gave myself the permission to just hit the record button and start talking, that's when I had a podcast. But it took me 2 years to get to that point because I was so busy looking for permission from everyone else to do this thing that I was dreaming of. Another thing that oftentimes holds us back is we're afraid of taking up space. We're afraid of breaking out of the box that they try to put us in. We're afraid of taking up space in this world and being seen, being heard, having an opinion, doing something different than what somebody else says or a way somebody else does it, or sharing our art even though there's a million other people that do art too. We're afraid to take up space and we convince ourselves, oh, there's already so many people out here doing this. My art isn't anything amazing compared to hers. All of these like thoughts and things we say to ourselves is because we are afraid as women to show up and take up space. We are afraid to own the space as our space, the way that we like it, the way we want to do it. Every time an artist showed up and showed their art, they took up space to show their creation, their unique way of painting, their unique product. Every time someone starts a podcast, they are showing up and taking up space with their thoughts, with their opinion, with their knowledge, with their truths. We show up and we take up space. And as women and moms, we get so nervous about that because for so long, for so many years back, we were not supposed to take up space. We were supposed to be, good and quiet and productive and, let the man take up the space. And sometimes whenever we show up and we're taking up space, we oftentimes can feel guilty about it or ashamed about taking someone's time. We start apologizing for, oh, I've talked too long. Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Oh, blah, blah. Like we start apologizing because we're afraid to take up space. And we have to stop. We have to show up and take the space, chase the dreams, speak the truth. And then this one is like, let go of people's opinions. Let go of people's opinions. Let people talk or say whatever they want to say about whatever you're doing or about you. I don't believe everybody's going to have something to say. I believe that we concoct this in our mind. I believe that we make in our mind everybody's going to have something to say about us, about what we're doing, about what we're saying. And in reality, I think people are too busy worrying about people talking about them to even formulate like what they even have to say about you, because they're doing the same thing that you're doing. But there are some people that are going to have something to say. Every now and then on my YouTube videos, there is somebody that comes in the comments and has something to say that isn't that nice. But honestly, let them talk while you're rising, while you're shining, while you're being you. Because when somebody is showing up and they're talking about you, guess what? They're not showing up as them. They're focused on somebody else, and they haven't yet shown up to be themselves. Because if they were showing up to be themselves, to speak their truth, to chase their dreams, to take up their space, they wouldn't be talking about you. This happens with people that we know. and people that we don't. But like, we all live through this. We do this, every day. And so just let them. The real question here is, how do we break free from needing this permission? Permission has been ingrained in us for so long and in so many different ways. We had to ask permission as kids to go to the bathroom in school. We had to ask permission to get, something from the refrigerator or the kitchen, or, to go to someone's house. Or we were taught really young to ask permission. We didn't own anything. We, as kids had to ask for permission. We grow up asking permission, and then we hit puberty and life gets weird, and we start needing to, have to fit in with our peers and have friends. And so we're looking for permission from them. And then we are, start dating. And so like, we're looking for permission from, people that we date on, if they like us, all of these different things. We have jobs and we work for somebody, and we need permission to take a day off. We need permission to, work certain days, certain hours. We need permission to change the arrangement of the pillows on the wall from what they said that they wanted. Our society and our life ingrains us to need permission. And then as women, we have an added layer to it. We need permission from a man. We need permission from the bank. We need permission from, there's always somebody in addition that we need permission from. And so the question here is, how do you make the shift, and how do you break free from needing permission? Here's what's worked for me. And trust me, I am knee deep in the trenches with you on this. So these are things that I literally am doing with you right now. And so I want to share them with you so that it can help you break free from needing all of the things that are causing us to shrink and to not shine and not to be our authentic, real selves. And so in this journey of breaking free from all of these limiting beliefs and limiting thought patterns, I have learned to, number one, catch the hesitation. Notice when you start to hold back. Whenever you're wanting to say something, or you're wanting to launch something, or you're wanting to share something, or you're wanting to change something, or whatever it is, whenever you start to hold back, whenever you start to hesitate, whenever you start to bite your tongue, notice it. Notice where you're stopping yourself because of fear, and then do your best to do it. Sometimes this happens after the fact. You leave and you're like, I was hesitating. I wanted to say, but I didn't. Like, I don't know about you, but me and my husband get in the car and it's like a whole recap session of, what we just experienced. And honestly, the amount of times that we both are saying, what I wanted to say was, well, when blah, blah, blah happened, what I wanted to do was, well, wouldn't it be funny if I did, or if you did, or did you see, we're sitting there recapping all of our hesitations, all of the times we started holding ourselves back, all of the times we bit our tongue, all of the times we weren't not aligning authentically with who we are. We were shrinking. We were trying to be good. We were trying to be pleasing. So number one, catch the hesitation. Notice when you're stopping yourself because of fear. And then if you can, in that moment, do it. After you've noticed it, do it. That's the best way that you're going to overcome. You're going to override that fear, is if you can do it and prove to yourself like, we didn't die because we actually said what we wanted to say. Number two, ask yourself, who am I really afraid of? Usually it's not a whole crowd. It's one or two voices that you're imagining in your head. And guess what? Their opinions are not paying your bills. Their opinions are not putting you to sleep and waking you up every day and night. So Who are you really afraid of? Who have you given so much power to that is controlling and stopping you? Sometimes it's someone else because we're afraid of offending them. And sometimes it's just ourselves. Sometimes we're afraid of ourselves. Sometimes it's what we imagine or think someone else is going to say that may not ever even happen. So, number 2, ask, who are you afraid of when you hesitate back? Number 3, decide to be uncomfortable. Growth is not comfortable, and stepping into your power is going to feel really weird. Do it anyway, because growth is unknown, and unknown is always uncomfortable. So in order to step into your power, in order to make it unknown, in order to make it comfortable, you have to get uncomfortable. And I believe me, I don't like that either, but that is how we change things. And then number 4, act before you feel ready. If you are waiting for the perfect moment, you're going to be waiting forever. You have to start right now. The confidence comes after you take the action. I waited 2 years to start a podcast. When I started the podcast, 2 years later, I still didn't feel like I was ready. But I had spent money on a course. I had convinced my husband he needed to do this with me. I had been talking about it for 2 years, and people were like, well, so are you going to do it or are you going to not? I wasn't ready. It wasn't comfortable, and I still did not feel ready. But I was never going to feel ready. I was just going to keep waiting, and I was just going to keep procrastinating, and I was just going to keep needing to learn more and getting more permission slips and rehashing in my mind all the things that could go wrong, and, all of who knows what really actually was going on in there. A whole bunch of limiting beliefs, a whole bunch of fear. And I never was going to be ready until I did it. And then after I did it, I pushed through the uncomfortable thing of pushing the record button and hearing myself. And then I did it again. I started getting more confident about what I had to say. I started getting more confident about how to even work the technology part of it. I started getting confident about editing it. I started getting confident about putting it out there. I started getting confident about telling people about my podcast. The confidence came after. The action came first. And that is how it is with everything. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to take the action, and then the confidence comes up. Because if you keep waiting for the confidence to come first, you're going to wait forever because it's not coming. So here it is. One last final time. Here is your permission slip that I'm handing to you right now. You are allowed to dream big. You are allowed to be successful. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to want more for yourself and your family. No more waiting. No more asking for validation. No more shrinking. No more biting your tongue. The world doesn't need another woman who is playing small to make others comfortable. The world needs you, fully alive, fully free, fully you. How you were made to be, who you were made to be, and what purpose you were made for this earth in this time right now. I just gave you your last permission slip from anyone else. From now on, all the permission slips are going to come from you. You're allowed to dream big. You're allowed to be successful. You are allowed to take up space in this world. You are allowed to want more for yourself and for your family. And guess what? You are not alone. We are all going through this. We are all living this. We are all trying to break this chain. We are all trying to unbreak the cycle. And I am right in the trenches with you. If this episode hit home for you, If this is something that you struggle with, like I do, could you do me a favor and screenshot it and share it on Instagram and tag me in it? My handle is Whitney L. Vance. Let me know, what is the one thing that you're going to stop waiting for permission on? Because I want to cheer you on. So go out there and shine and be the full you that you were made to be. Thanks for hanging out with me on the Like a Mom podcast. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another mom who's ready to thrive in life and business. Remember, you've got everything you need to succeed already inside of you. Keep going, keep believing, and know that you're doing amazing. Remember, being a mom isn't a limitation. It's your ultimate advantage. Until next time, keep thriving and shining like a mom.